Hello everybody, what's going on? Welcome to this new replay. I'm going to be doing Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super Nintendo. Yeah, I'm playing this game like for the 100th time and shit. But I'm not just going to be doing a playthrough playing as any character I want, which is traditionally Shang Tsung. Well, I will be playing as Shang Tsung when the time comes. When they come? Anyway, I wanna do a playthrough playing as Rayden. Because after I did 3 Wonders back in the day, I actually played as Rayden. I did a Mortal Kombat 2 and a Mortal Kombat 3 run. Both for the Super Nintendo, that is. Well, I will be showing you the Mortal Kombat 3 one next week. I already got it recorded. For some reason I did that one first. Anyway, I'm gonna be playing as Rayden because that's what I did back in the day, but that original playthrough was without commentary. This time around, of course, I'm going to be adding the commentary to it. So yeah, Rayden used to be one of the characters I played a lot as when I was a kid. When I went to a friend's house, I used to play it a lot. But I never beat it, even playing it on the easiest difficulty. I don't know, I just went to my friend's house to, well, apart from playing his Super Nintendo and his copy of Mortal Kombat 2. Apart from all that, I basically went there to test new fatalities. I tried to get the codes with other people and shit and tested them out there, but wasn't really much interested in beating the game, at least back in the day. I'm gonna be starting by doing both the friendship and the babality, since they are kind of more difficult to pull off. You remember, you have to like not only do the combination, but you have to win the round, the second round, without pressing any punch button. So you have to beat him just by kicking or doing any other move that doesn't imply pressing a punch button. So yeah, here we go. That's why I did the Kick Thunder friendship. It is the same friendship that appears in other appearances of Rayden in Mortal Kombat, specifically Mortal Kombat Trilogy. I'm talking about the 2D saga, of course. Later games, in that sense, don't even know if they have friendships at all. Probably not. Well, you should know that I'm playing on the medium difficulty. Actually, I have more of a rough time playing as Rayden or any other character except Shang Tsung. You know that usually even if I can lose a few fights playing as Shang Tsung, usually I win, even with the 5 credits. This time around, I'm going to take her to the spikes. In order to do that, you have to press up 3 times and then press the Y button on the Super Nintendo controller. Well, I'm using an emulator for this one. I do have a copy of Mortal Kombat 2, but really, I think I will have a really bad time, a really rough time, if I attempt to beat it normally as Rayden. I am good at this game, but only I am good playing as one character, and I'm also good in the sense that I know all the fatalities by heart. But I'm not really a great fighter, especially when it comes to playing as different characters from Scorpion and Shang Tsung. All the others, I'm not really, never was interested in playing as them and learning them or anything. I mean, no, I was never interested in playing this professionally, not even close. I just played with the characters I wanted and just wanted to pull off the fatalities, even if that resulted in me not beating the game or not being good at it when it comes to fighting 1-to-1 or 1-on-1, I should say. Okay, this time I'm doing babality. I was pressing the block button there because you have to press up and the command will be not recognized if you actually make the jump, so you have to like press block or hold block button as you do that. 4th battle already. Oh, this is going to be a one-parter video, playthrough. I was thinking of dividing it at first, like 6 on 6 characters and shit, but it doesn't really matter, really. The same thing is going to happen with the next playthrough, the next replay, Mortal Kombat 3. By the way, that run is supposed to be played as Smoke, which is a hidden character, which makes the game immediately harder. They boosted it up to the highest difficulty just because you are playing as a hidden character. Well, I will be pointing that out when time comes. That is to say, next week. As you can see, I am kind of abusing, by the way, this fatality by holding Y the entire second round. This is one of the first fatalities I was able to pull off as a kid. Okay, who is calling me on the phone? Whoever it is unimportant, so I am removing the sound. Always somebody calls me in my recordings, either to the home phone or to my cell phone. It's annoying. Oh yeah, this trick. Probably you are familiar with this famous trick that you are able to pull off with a few of the characters of the game, in which you basically have to make or perform a jump kick backwards, and then the opponent, the character, like stays in place and jumps toward you, but without kicking you or without punching you, sorry, giving you the chance to do an uppercut or do a kick or use the spear in the case of Scorpion. You know that technique, you know, doing a backwards jump kick and then attract the opponent by doing that. Well, it doesn't work with all of the characters, unfortunately. By the way, I'm gonna be doing the second fatality, holding A for a few seconds, then you release it, and then you have to press repeatedly A and L or R, the block button. Pressing it repeatedly after releasing the A button initially, and then, of course, keep electrocuting the guy until it explodes. So yeah, as I was saying, that technique of, you know, doing the backwards thing doesn't really work with all of the characters, unfortunately, because not all of them actually kick or do the jump kick in the proper position for the opponent to get paralyzed and jump towards you, allowing you to attack him or attack her. It is possible to do, for example, as Shang Tsung. It's possible to do it with the ninjas, but it's hard to pull off as Liu Kang, for example. It's difficult to pull off as Kung Lao, and Rayden is no exception to that rule, unfortunately. So I'm not able to do that CPU trick or cheat the system, whatever you want to call it, as Rayden. So, well, I guess each character got their own way to cheat the CPU. Well, this is a common one. They get in a bad position and they get stuck, regardless of the character. Okay, what am I doing now? This again. Okay. So, that is why, I guess, I insist, each character probably has their own cheating move. Well, as you have been able to see in the last couple of fights, in the case of Rayden, you can use the electricity. In the same way you can, for example, use the 3 fireballs or the 3 skulls in the case of Shang Tsung. And as you can see, I'm doing this trick again. I don't know how to pull it off. I mean, like, this is happening by accident, basically. The same thing as it happened with Kitana. So, yeah, basically, you use the electricity, again, in the same way you can use the Shang Tsung skulls, for the enemy to jump backwards and receive all the projectiles to the face. Like now, see, it jumps backwards. Anytime you use your projectile power. By the way, the Pit 2, one of my favorites, but I mean, it's my favorite for this game, of course, but Pit 3 is probably my most favorite, or my, you know, the one that I enjoy the most watching in from Mortal Kombat 3, of course. So yeah, what I've been saying, this trick of using the electricity cannot always be used against all of the characters. Some of them, as you can tell, can slide, like in the case of Reptile and Sub-Zero. They will fall for it. That was kind of a glitch, wasn't it? So yeah, they fall for it sometimes, but many other times they just react to it with their respective attacks. Again, in the case of Reptile, it's more difficult. If you try to use projectiles, for example, against Liu Kang, he's gonna react with fireballs, massive fireballs. That's why I didn't use it so much against him. But yeah, some characters will definitely fall for it more often. Okay, that wasn't too difficult, and I'm doing the second fatality once again. With a single uppercut, he explodes, and of course the head is intact, because that's how video games work.
Fatality.
Sub-Zero's next, another one with the slide ability, so it's gonna be more difficult to use the electricity. Again, some of these techniques cannot be abused, cannot be used all the time, so unfortunately I have to like come up with new ideas or just fight him normally. Sometimes not the most orthodox methods, not the most, how can I put it, the most ideal ones. And as you can see there, I got lucky. Well, I kind of knew that could happen. That's why I tried to end it with an uppercut, because that would have been like the only way for me to win. Sometimes the CPU fails on finishing me off, basically. As it happened with Sub-Zero, like freezing me there but not being able to, I mean, it always decides to make some sort of low kick instead of doing an uppercut or any other move. This time I'm repeating the friendship, that's why I was beating Sub-Zero only using kicks and the Superman attack, which name I never learned, if he has a name at all.
Friendship.
8 wins, that means there are, no sorry, 9 wins with this one, so yeah, 3 more characters to go before the bosses. Yeah, you cannot really abuse the electricity against Rayden too many times. Now it's working, but sometimes he will teleport. I guess it's a matter of timing. I mean, it's not a guess, it's something that I'm certain about by now. It's a matter of timing. I mean, depending on when you decide to use electricity, the CPU will fall for it instead of counterattacking. And what's with the sound? It's kind of fucking up for a second. Oh, by the way, remember I'm using a keyboard for this. The ability, once again. I wanted to show it at least twice. The friendship at the abilities. Remember, they're more difficult to pull off because you cannot really use punch button in those. So that's why I decided to do it not too many times, or I decided to do fatalities more than friendships and abilities. I wish I could keep it even, but you know, you have seen it enough amount of times anyway. So yeah, for example, you can adapt to your basically your methods, your techniques, or your way to fight a specific enemy, depending on the enemy. As you can see, for example, I can abuse the Superman attack against Kung Lao, and he's gonna react by using hats, as you can see. Sometimes he's more exposed, so he can receive air kicks, etc. But for example, in here, I can abuse the Superman until the end, and he will not hit me with a hat a single time. But again, if I can finish it off faster by kicking or using electricity, well, so be it. But, you know, you have to readapt your strategy. That's the word I was looking for, depending on the enemy. So yeah. That was the 11th character defeated. Now we're going for Shang Tsung. This one, unless he morphs, well, Jax is actually one of the enemies that you can trick with electricity until the end. Because he doesn't have like teleport attacks or physical attacks that can get to you fast enough. Shang Tsung is also an example to that. But for example, try to apply this to Liu Kang, Kitana. No, Kitana maybe actually you can do that, but for example, trying to apply this to Liu Kang or these guys that slide all the time, for example, it's going to be more difficult because they will always react with a fast attack, physical attack that will reach you in no time. For example, now is a good time for abusing this thing. But since I want to finish it off in a different way, I don't want to use electricity until the very end, and I'm showing off this fatality, which is probably my favorite from Rayden, a third time. Well, if you're familiar with the Super Nintendo version and well, in case you have watched me play this particular version, probably you have more than once on stream, for example, you know that I have some sort of technique for me to defeat Kintaro easily, get him in a corner and just punch the shit out of him. But I decided not to do so this time because Kintaro is in general not a hard character to defeat. He blocks a lot after a while. But you know, sometimes you can abuse certain attacks. He leaves many spots open every time he attacks. Of course, you take a lot of damage in the process, but you know, you can, but just by trying many times or as many times as it takes, you will end up winning just because Kintaro doesn't have a great defense. So it's just a matter of using the most amount of attacks possible in every sequence. As you can see, I kick him, I use electricity all together, so I don't just perform one attack at a time, but usually 2 or 3 in each sequence, so we can cause some decent amount of damage. And Rayden in that sense has actually some advantages, since you can jump kick, the electricity is relatively quickly to pull off, and also the Superman attack, as I decided to call it from this time on. Since always actually, nothing new there. But yeah, you can defeat him very fast. And surprisingly enough, Shao Kahn is very good at, blocking everything. But as you can see, and this is one of the advantages of having such a fast attacks, like the electricity in this case, that yeah, Shao Kahn is going to be blocking a lot, but he will not react. Almost never, I should say, through one of those physical attacks, this tackle thing that he uses. You abuse that, and he's just gonna be blocking. And if you use the Superman attack, the same thing is gonna happen. He's just gonna be blocking eternally. Of course, if you don't do anything for a couple seconds, he will counterattack. But it's like it happens when you use your the skull attack, the 3 skulls as Shang Tsung. He's not gonna react, or he's not gonna react at first. Then he's gonna be starting to throw this green arrow. But in this case, playing as Rayden, regardless of the amount of times you attack him, he's not going to throw that arrow. So in that sense, just by being persistent and attacking non-stop, you will end up winning. I'm kind of surprised of the camera commentary I'm doing. It's like trying to explain things, but I really hope I'm getting myself understood. Familiar with Shang Tsung's lies and Shao Kahn's brutality, Rayden accepts their challenge to compete in an Outworld tournament. He's well aware of their scheme to unbalance the Furies and invade the Earth realm, and I cannot really rewind this because I'm using a different emulator from usual. Winning the tournament, Rayden destroys Shao Kahn and all his minions. He also destroyed the dimensional gates, which would have been their passageway to the Earth realm. Well, you will have to watch the recording if you want to see the entire ending text, but no big deal. So yeah, I'm gonna thank you for watching this replay of Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super Nintendo, playing as Rayden. Next week, I'm going to be doing Mortal Kombat 3 on the Super Nintendo, playing as Smoke, the hidden character. Of course, there is a cheat, there is a code that is necessary for you to unlock it. I will show it to you, of course. Me performing it, I know all of those codes by heart. I've been using them all my life. Well, since the game came out. It came out in 95, I was 10 at the time. But you will see me perform all that and play the game entirely as Smoke. Well, I will be describing the features for that particular playthrough next week. Well, I recorded that playthrough first, but I can let you know right now. After these 2 Mortal Kombat games, I'm going to be working on Versus Castlevania for the arcade, which is basically the same old Castlevania game, but with an insert coin message, which makes it, I don't know, at least different in that regard only, of course, but the game is essentially the same. And I am going to be using cheats in there for infinite health. Just letting you know, I'm not gonna try to do a legit Castlevania run because I've never been able to beat it myself, and I'm not interested in doing that, at least for this replay. And of course the replays, this is a lame excuse by the way, but yeah, the replays have to be faithful to the original playthrough, and the original playthrough was with cheats. So yeah, this time it's not gonna be any different, but at least the commentary will make it up for it, I guess. I hope. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the credits that are supposed to be funny. Guys who were forced to play the game and got paid for it. Yeah, sounds like heaven. I would love to get forced like that. And sexually too. See you next week!